Hello friends, so today we can discuss the top 3 problems from the latest AdCoder ACL beginner contest. It is a new type of beginner contest which has started recently. This is the first contest of this series and I will make the first 3 problems in this video, and the rest of the videos and the rest of the problems are a little bit difficult, and to not make this video a little bit long, so I will make separate videos for all of the 3 problems. So let's start with the first problem. It is very simple, in which you are given an integer k. You have to print the string obtained by repeating ACL k times. So it's very simple. If you are given k equal to 3, you have to print ACL, ACL and ACL. So you just take the input of k and print out ACL k times. So I don't have to show the code for this. It's very simple. Just print out ACL k times. The second problem states that Snook likes the number that is greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to b. So it is a range. You're given that Snooks like an integer like greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to b, and Takahashi like an integer greater than or equal to c and less than or equal to d. So you are given two ranges, and does there exist an integer which is liked by both of these persons? So you have to find out whether there is some intersection of both of these ranges. So that's the simplest explanation for this question. Now how you can do that? Let's assume that you have some number line and this is one intersection. The other intersection can be such that it just touches it out. It is like 1, 2, and this is like 2 and 3. There's also like this is 2 is the common number between them, so that's answer. You just have to find out that whether there is at least one number which lies in the intersection of both of these things. Okay, so now what you can do here is, the first thing you have to keep in mind is how to find an intersection. If like we know that one range is like this and the other range can be like this. So if this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So if C is less than or equal to B, okay, then these two ranges intersect. That's a simple explanation. Because if this is the number line, it starts from 0, it is 1, like this is like 2, this is 3, this is 4. So they can only intersect when the starting index of the second range should be less than the ending index of the first range. So then only they can intersect. But there is one case you have to think over is, let's assume that we have to first ensure that the two ranges which is given to you, first range is by Snook and the other range is by like Takahashi. So we don't know that maybe Snook range is the first and Takahashi range is the second, and maybe Snook range is the second and the Takahashi range is first. So we have to ensure that I always ensure that Snook range is first. Always the first range is of the Snook range and the second is of the Takahashi range. So if this doesn't occur, I will if this doesn't happen, I will reverse the ranges for both of them such that Snook range is always the one which comes earlier and Takahashi range is always the one which comes afterwards. So that's the whole thing. You have to first keep in mind of that. So how you can do this? I'll tell you on to the code part now. Take the input of A and B. If A means the starting index of the first range and C is the starting index of the second range. If A is larger, which means that A is the first range which is AB and the second range is CD. If A is larger than C, which means that A lies behind C. So we have to swap this range with this range. So how you can swap? You can swap the first range position of both of these numbers and the second position of both of these numbers. After this, we ensure that AB always lies ahead of CD. Now the simplest condition to check like whether there's some intersection is, I have told you, B should be less than equal to, or like C should be less than equal to B. This is the condition. C should be less than equal to B. If this condition holds true, the answer is yes, else the answer is no. So that's the simplest explanation for the second problem. Let's move on to the third problem now. The third problem states that there are n cities numbered from 1 till n, and there are m bidirectional roads. So like there are some roads connecting these cities, and now Snook can perform like this operation any number of times, 0 or more than number of times, any one time he wants. He can choose two distinct cities. He can choose like any two cities and which are not directly connected. These cities should not be directly connected, and he can connect them or can build a bridge or road through them. After building some roads joining some cities, he should ensure that you can travel from any city to any other city. So what is the minimum number of roads you have to build? So that's the simplest question now. So I'll tell you on with the code part or like first drawing part. You have some city, it is joined like this. There is some another city which is joined like this. Now even if you join this city with this city, it is of no use because you can already reach from city 1 till city 3. So you have to join minimum number of roads such that there always exists some path from every node to reach every other node. Okay, but let's assume that the map is like this. Now you cannot reach from 1 city to 3 city because there is already no road present. So you have to connect one road from this to this. And now if you connect these two components, so now the simplest explanation for this is you have to find out different components. So like if there are one component is like this, there are some nodes in this, as you can see. There is one component here, one component here, one component here. So how many nodes you have to connect to ensure that now every component will connect? So you just connect one node with this component, one node with this component, one node with this component, one node with this component. So if there are so if you connect like this, okay, this node is not like this edge is not required. Actually, if you can just connect that, so you can reach this by this path only. So if there are like four components, you have to make 3 nodes or like 3 edges to connect all the components, because these components are not connected to each other. There is no single node to connect, on no single road to connect the nodes of this component with this component. So if you just made one road, because it is bidirectional, you can just easily connect all these nodes to these nodes. And same if you connect this edge, you can connect all these nodes with these nodes. So if there are, let's assume only one component, then how many roads you have to make? 0. If there are 2 components, how many roads you have to make? 1, because only one road can connect both of these components. So the answer is just total number of components minus 1. So how you can find out total number of components? You can just do a DFS from every node. So from every node, if it is not visited, make this visited and mark all the nodes which is connected to this node, such that I will mark out the whole component and mark out that, okay, if this is not visited, I will mark out this whole component as one component. Then again I will move to 1. This is not visited, so I will mark out this whole component. Then I will move to 2. Because it is already visited, I will not mark this out. I will move to 3 now. This is also already visited, so I will not mark this out. So I will not do this. So that this is actually a whole component. But if this is like this, if I move from left to right, I will take out the first node. Okay, this is not visited, so I will mark this as one component. I'll make this visited. I will do a DFS, go to its other node, mark this as visited, and then there is no other node to visit, so I will just move out of this loop or this DFS. Then I will go to the next node, because I'm iterating over every node. If this is not visited, because it is visited, it means that it is part of some another component. I don't have to take care of this. So I will not take care of this, and I will just not mark this out. Then I will go to the third node. This is not visited, so I will make this visited, and because the total number of components will become 2, I will make this visited and then go to the next node, check that if it's not visited, the count will increase, which means the number of components will increase, and so on. And so that's the whole logic. I'll take down to the code part now. So what we'll do, we will have to make 2 actually vectors. The first is the adjacency matrix, and the other the Boolean vector for visited. Okay, so we will take the input of total, L and M. Total show how many components are there, N and M, and make an adjacency matrix for X and Y. There's an edge from X to Y, bidirectional road. So for adjacency matrix of X, push Y, and for Y, push X. Then the total of components is 0. We don't need this actually. Then what we'll do, we'll iterate over from every possible node from 0 till N. If this is not visited, we will increment our component, and then we will run a DFS from this ith node. So how this DFS will run, I will check that, okay, whether this node is not visited. If this node is not visited, I will make this node visited and again do a DFS on all its children, and then recursively call this function again and again, and will only run this DFS if this node is not visited. And I will mark out in every turn one single component. And after marking out all the components, I have the total number of components stored in this, and the answer is just component minus 1. I hope you get my point as well as the code. If you still have any doubts, mention down. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you next one. Keep coding. Bye.